iPadOS 14 was announced last week at WWDC 2020. Now, it's much like the others in the 14 family of Apple software updates, and it promises some pretty big fundamental changes on how the Apple ecosystem interacts within itself. Now, the reason I want to talk about the iPad first and not one of my other Apple devices, like I don't want to talk about Mac Big Sur today, I don't want to talk about iOS 14, because the iPad is one of my favorite devices of all time. For the past few years, I've had an iPad absolutely attached to me at the hip, and I think across the line, from the top of the iPad Pro all the way down to the iPad 10.2, this is a product line that makes sense at almost every level and price point. So what are the new features and how do I think they hold up? Let's find out. So much easier when it's so much lighter. What's up, everyone? I'm the Everyday Dad, and if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. So before we even start this video, here's as the dad, I want to send a note of caution. This iPadOS 14 is currently in early developers beta, and I do not recommend that you go out and install this or any of the betas on either your only iOS device or a device that you use for any sort of work. Do not install this on your primary systems. Betas, by their very nature, are unstable, so don't risk it if you have money riding on these products. I myself installed iPadOS 14 on my 10.2-inch iPad and not my iPad Pro because I do use that for work. But yeah, okay, enough boring adult lecturing, because the most surprising part of using this beta for the past week, frankly, is just how stable it is. I've done other Apple betas and other operating system betas in the past, and legitimately, I don't know that I've come across one that's as functional and as crash-free as this. Please stay crash-free. That does not change my recommendation to not install it right away, though. At least wait for the public beta. And as I've only been using this for a week, and it's a beta, I'm gonna touch on some of the new features that I really like, and some of the places I hope they can focus on prior to official release. However, I'm not really gonna criticize too hard, if at all, because it's in early beta, and it's still in active development. They're not selling this yet, so I can't be too harsh on them because they're not selling it to you. So first off, let's go over what's probably the most striking, the new home screen redesign. The new big feature here are widgets. You now get a whole host of little widgets that you can put here on the side that let you customize your home screen in ways not yet seen in the iPad system, which, no, Apple is not the first phone/tablet maker to come up with that, not by a long shot. If I remember correctly, my HTC Evo from back in 2008, I believe it had a very similar feature. This is so long ago, I can barely remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. Long story short, they aren't breaking any new grounds, but I do appreciate them listening to feedback, as one of the main complaints with any iOS or iPadOS device is lack of customization, especially on the home screen. Widgets on the iPad as of right now they're okay, they're not great, but I'd rather them be here than not. I do wish that you could put the widgets on the home screen, like on my iPhone with iOS 14. But here you can only keep these widgets on the little side panel. You can enable that side panel to always stay there as part of the home screen, which is cool. I would prefer to be able to set them wherever I wanted to on the home screen. I mean, I think the benefit of these new widgets is how well they could weave into the normal app icons. And you know what? Since it's a developer beta, I'm gonna submit that as feedback. I'm not just gonna yell this into the void as a YouTube video. We're gonna help make progress. If I had to say a favorite widget so far, what would it be? Probably the calendar one. I mean, my life is lived by strictly planning out and scheduling my day. There's just too much going on to haphazardly go throughout the day. So I really like being able to, at a glance, see what's up next and what's going on for the rest of the day. I really do like this. The other big redesign in iOS 14 with regards to the screen is the new app library, but unfortunately, iPadOS, at least as of today, does not have it. So you'll have to keep organizing your apps the old-fashioned way. I don't think that's that big of a deal, as it's not really something that I'm using on my iPhone that much, but who knows? Maybe it will grow on me before too long. Maybe it's a feature that I'm I don't see the use of it now, and then in 2 weeks I'm it's the perfect feature, why did I not use that before? The next big update that I'm really excited for is the new smaller screen phone calls. You might think taking phone calls on your iPad isn't the most convenient or useful feature anyway, but I use it all of the time. A large chunk of my day, especially in my normal day job, is spent in conference phone meetings, and using the speaker on my iPhone is a guaranteed way to have a splitting headache at the end of the day due to the shriller quality of the audio if you're using speakerphone on your iPhone. The speakers on the iPad, even this 10.2, are on a whole other level. So I've started using my iPad as my meeting speaker. It's just so I'm not an audiophile, I can't explain it to you, but it's just so much more comfortable and it's way less fatiguing to use. But when you're doing that, it's really irritating when somebody calls and then it just takes over the whole screen. This new feature will only take up a small part of the screen, so you can kind of like screen the call ahead of time, and this won't interrupt your work. It's not perfect because as soon as you click on anything in regard to the call, it will take up the whole screen. I do kind of wish it would stay small the whole time. Maybe we'll submit another comment for that. Darn it, we're doing software development in real time here on the video. I'm kidding. I'm not an engineer or programmer in any way, shape, or form. Another thing that I really like is the new menu pane for a few of the key apps, namely Photos, Notes, Files, Calendar, and even Apple Music. So what I really like about this is the thought of some of these key internal apps getting more desktop type functionality. Another of the key negatives, a key thing that people complain about iPads all the time for, and it's really frustrating to me, is the file system. Or I guess you could call it the organization of an iPad. It's absolutely the biggest flaw in using an iPad as a computer replacement, and I do find these menus as a good step forward in blending macOS and iPadOS into a coherent and professional system that works well for both consumption and tapping around on the screen, but also for people that want to be able to manage their internal files or processes a little bit better. A quick example of how this is now better for me, in the Files app, you now have more options to treat the files in iPad is kind of like a computer as a whole. You can create new folders, use a hierarchy to assign those folders, and move those folders in between itself. That's pretty darn big, seeing as how in the current iPad, it's just so much harder to do. And you might be saying to yourself, well, it's folders. Computers have been doing folders since Windows, 3.1? It's new on the iPad, and it's not a full system yet, but each and every update I get to an iPad, it gets closer and closer. They're starting to really dial it in. Another huge feature that I'm obscenely excited about is the fully featured, well, at least as fully features as it can on an iPad, Spotlight is now in iPadOS 14. Previous to this, the standard Command Spacebar option would bring up a Siri search page, which worked fine, but it prioritized the search through the internet instead of doing the iPad. Now, I might not be explaining this well, but what I like is now when I hit Command Spacebar, I just type in the function I'm looking for and it opens. Wow, I mean, if you aren't predominantly a Mac user, you might not know what I'm talking about, but Spotlight is huge for me, and it just gets better and better. It's the way that I find things on my Mac anymore. I don't even bother opening up files looking for applications anymore. Command space, type in Photoshop, and it opens. Maybe that's just me getting lazy. Sometimes you gotta be self-aware, right? But it's so convenient, and I am beyond happy that it's now on my iPad. If I'm not searching for files anyway, that file system that I talked about just a few minutes ago, it becomes less important. So no kidding, I think this is a super exciting development. It might be my favorite development in total on iPadOS 14. Another big addition so far is Scribble support with a dedicated Apple Pencil. This is a way that you can write in any text box and the iPad will convert it into typed text. The problem is I can't actually find my pencil for the 10.2, so we don't get to actually try that out today. And for me, it's cool, it's great to show what kind of processing power and neat features that Apple is working on and the things that they can do under the hood of this operating system. But as you've heard me say in plenty of videos, I'm a typer. I'm not a writer because my handwriting it's atrocious. That is not too soft of a word to say. My handwriting is some of the worst you're gonna find. So I try to do as little of it as possible. Something else that I really like is you get a lot more control and visibility of what's going on with anything connected via Bluetooth. For example, I wear my AirPods legitimately for hours a day, whether it's running, whether it's hanging out at the house, whether it's doing work, those things are in my head a lot. And now from the iPad itself, you can change the noise cancellation settings, you can change how the AirPod functions work, and on the battery widget, you can even see their battery life. I love this. Okay, there's a lot that I'm loving today, but I'm always guessing at what my AirPods battery life is. I'm always wondering how much charge is left, and I'm always wanting to turn off the cancellation because I hate trying to do it where you have to hold the end of the AirPod. It only works half the time. So extra control over that functionality from my iPad, that's gigantic. That is, each of these features has been I could gush about this single feature all day long. I consider this to be right up there with Spotlight search as something that absolutely changes how I interact with my iPad in the future. And you know what? I talked about gushing. I'm gonna gush for just a second. This is why I love Apple devices. They get more and better functionality all of the time. And even my $250 iPad non-Pro will get most of the same high-end features that my iPad Pro will get. And it's almost as powerful, and it will continue to get support for years, and I don't have to pay when the new version of the OS is released. I love it. Like, I don't know. I don't know how else to like say, just pooh. Dang, it is awesome. A cool smaller addition is Safari now offers additional privacy abilities, which should greatly enhance the security and privacy of our data, but will also, what else is cool, is it will now have a report that you can review to see which trackers and websites are trying to follow you throughout your time on the internet. I mean, privacy is becoming a gigantic deal, and it's nice to see that companies like Apple are taking it seriously. Okay, so there are other smaller things that iPadOS 14 has brought to us, like multi-window support for music, low power mode, enhancements to maps, and other cool things. But I'm not gonna touch on those. Those don't like change how I would interact with the iPad as much as the ones we already talked about. So how do I like this after 1 week of solid use? I actually like it quite a lot. Did you not hear all of the talk earlier? Like I said, I have an iPad glued to my hip at basically all times. I've got 2 of them right now. I never go anywhere without one. iPads are absolutely the most useful tool that I have for writing scripts, responding to emails, scheduling my day, and even sometimes very quick video and photo editing on the go. These are way more powerful computers than I think most people give it credit for. And no, these new features and functions are not revolutionary, but they are evolutionary, and they go right to the heart of making this way more interoperable with other Apple devices, and it makes it even more user-friendly and versatile. And it's even better than iOS 13. What I actually can't wait to see is how all of these features play together when all of my Apple things, watch, phone, iPad, Mac, when they're all running on the same processors. That's gonna be amazing. We should probably make a video on that, because that's gonna be amazing. It's not iPadOS 14, despite all the gushing, is not perfect yet. There still isn't what I would consider to be the fully functioning, worthwhile file system, especially if you're going to be importing a lot of footage or photos. And the biggest problem I have, with the file system is there still is no progress bar when you're importing files. And this is, okay, legitimately it's the thing that absolutely drives me up the wall when trying to work video-wise off of my iPad. And that's the thing that holds me back from using it more and more. Even on iPadOS 14, when you start importing, all you see is a scroll wheel. There is no like status bar. So you just have to let it go for however long, praying that something didn't crash in the background. But you don't actually know, and if you're transferring like a lot of files or big files, you might not know for a while, and that's frustrating to me. So if Apple could release a status bar for importing footage, I would feel so much more comfortable taking one of these with me as my only computer and leaving the MacBook at home basically forever. So I'm legitimately excited to see what Apple has in store for when this hits full retail release. Again, like talking back to the beginning of the video, I do not recommend that you install this on your main or only iPad, as it's stable right now, but tomorrow or the next beta version out there might make it way less so. It's a beta, that's what betas are for. And if you like this video and you do want to see more videos about iPads, click here where I talk about why the iPad Pro is a magical device and why you should buy one. Click right here to watch. Click, 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 click. Thanks for watching.